Hello my lovelies, if you're new here, I'm Luz. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to day 4 of Bookmas. On today's video, we are going to be talking about all of the books I read in the month of November, everything I have been reading and loving and enjoying, all of my thoughts, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to make myself a drink, I'm going to grab the books off my shelves, and then we're going to deep dive into all of my thoughts and how November went just as a whole, because if you know me, you know that October was not the best reading month of the year for me. So I'm excited to tell you how November has been. So grab yourselves a drink, let's get cozy and let's talk November reading wrap up. I've made myself a cup of peppermint tea. This is my new Christmassy kind of mug. It's giving Christmas right now, but even in summer, this is going to be cute. This is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I personally love pink and red together as a combination. I know some people hate pink and red together, but look how cute. Can you see how cute she is? She is absolutely... she's stunning. She's gorgeous. She's everything, and I'm obsessed. And it just makes my tea taste even so much more nicer, I swear. I read a total of 9 books in the month of November. These are just some of them. And oh my good gosh, do I have some things I need to talk to you guys about. Because November, I think, has been one of my favorite reading months of the year so far. I know we've only got one more to go, but oh boy, the good reads, they just kept on coming. They really, really, truly did. It was back to back to back. And I had the absolute best time. So let me tell you about the books I've loved this month, my least favourites, all that kind of stuff. Let's yap about it because there's a lot to get through. Oh boy, we started the month off with The Wolf King by Lauren Powell Freeman. This set the tone. It set the tone for the month. It really, really did. This is all about wolves. It's all about sexy Scots. And it has in it one of the most delicious love triangles I have ever experienced. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm a love triangle girly to my core, and this was speaking my language. It really, really, truly was. I loved the setting of the book. I especially loved the wolves. I love the concept. I love the plot. I love the storyline. If you are looking for a fast page turner of a romantasy with the blueprint for a love triangle, then this is the book that you absolutely need to pick up. And I had honestly such a good time, but it was really interesting because the love triangle in this, I fully expected to be either Team Blake or Team Callum. And as I was reading this book, I was like, this is not going how I expected to go in terms of a love triangle. It's very different to any kind of love triangle I've read before, in the sense that it's not predictable and it is not linear, it's not easy. You actually get to the end of this book and I personally think it's very hard to tell what team you are on. Because the golden retriever kind of guy in this, he's not really a golden retriever. He's still quite possessive, he's still got all of those elements, and it is because he's a wolf. He's not like all golden rays of sunshine. And then our morally grey option, he's morally grey, but you don't get as much of him in this book. So it's kind of like, you don't really know who to go for. You don't really know how to feel. It has you questioning everything you think you know. And at the end, I'm like, okay. 3/4 of this book, I was Team Callum. And towards the end, I'm leaning towards Blake more, but I still don't know. So I love this. I gave this a 4.25 stars. And I have actually, just at the end of this month, finished The Night Prince by Lauren Powell Freeman. I think this series is going to be a trilogy. I think this is the only one that's available in physical form. And I think if you want to read The Night Prince, you either have to read it on Kindle or listen to it on audio. And I think it's set to release in physical form next year. But this was 4.25. This, 5 stars. Easy. I was completely enthralled, completely captivated. When I wasn't reading this book, I was thinking about reading this book. I just wanted to know what was happening. I wanted to know where the plot was going. Everything was moving so fast. There were twists happening left, right, and center. Things happening that I just couldn't predict and couldn't see coming. If you love this book, you're gonna love this one even more. No second book syndrome in sight with this one. It just gets better. It really, really does. With this book, we're really up in the ante. And I was confused about what team I was on with book one. that's no longer the case. Your girl, she's firmly on Team Blake. Oh, yeah, I have no words. I actually have no words. And I just feel like the turn of events that happens and how everything transpires and what takes place in the course of these 2 books. Whew. Lauren Pell Freeman, she's a new fave. She's a new fave. This series I am obsessed with, and it is definitely one of my favourite fantasy series I've read all year. Oh, it's just so good. I have no notes. No notes. Amazing. Let's talk about Good Spirits next. This is a book that has my entire heart and soul, and I am just forever now thinking about this book. I am. If it wasn't obvious how much I love it, look how much I annotated this book. I did a reading vlog on this one for you guys, so if you're interested as to how I actually found it in real time, you can go check that out. But this was just absolutely sensational. It was peak Christmas contemporary romance, festive kind of reading. It's small town, it's cozy, but it also is heartwarming and heartfelt and emotive at the same time. You're getting the best of all the kind of worlds. Not to mention that our main character in this, he is a ghost, but he's also a sailor, he's also Irish, and he's also a tash talking, rough around the edges kind of male main character. I don't know about you guys, but tell me, what more could you possibly want in a male main character? BK Burson really truly makes sure we are well fed. Our female main character, she's so authentic, she's so beautiful, and the way that she loves out loud, and I truly believe that that is how everybody deserves to be loved. And if you have got someone in your life that loves you out loud, that is such a gift. Boy oh boy oh boy, is that just the most beautiful thing, especially to witness in a book, because it then does make you think about the people that you have in your life, and you're like, oh, actually I have this person in my life and they love me in this way, and what a beautiful gift that is. I actually don't know what BK puts in her books, but she has this kind of magic with her writing that is just incomparable to anything else I have ever read. And I just truly think that BK Burson is one of my all-time favourite contemporary romances, if not my all-time favourite contemporary romance author. She can just do no wrong, and I just love the way that she creates beautiful relationships that feel raw, that feel authentic, and that you can relate to. You're never focused on tropes, and everything else just fades away, because all that matters is these characters and this storyline. This was 5 stars, god tier, one of my favourite contemporary romances I've ever read. So you'll hear me say it a lot this month, but if you're looking for a contemporary festive romance to read in December, this, you've got to run. You have to run. It's amazing. It's incredible. And I just feel like you cannot read this and not love it. I challenge you. I challenge you. A little bit of a different one, but you know me, I do like the occasional self-help. I do dabble in that kind of side of reads, so this won't be for everybody. But I did read The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I was struggling a little bit in November with my mental health, and so this month going into November, I was like, I want to start things off on a really good note. So I'm gonna start with a self-help. I'm gonna audiobook it, and I also have the physical copy, so I'm gonna physical it too when I feel like I want to. I do tend to audio when it comes to self-helps more than I do read the physical ones, but this just spoke to me. It spoke to me. I truly read this and I thought, okay, Mel, did you write this for me? I know you didn't, but that's what it feels like. That's the kind of experience I had with this book. One of the deciders on the score that I gave this book, I gave it a 5-star. But how I knew that it was a 5-star was by how many times this book came up in conversation with other people. In the sense that somebody would be like, oh, I'm struggling with this at the moment. This thing is happening in my life and I'm not having a good time with it. And they'll be like, wow, I just read a book and Mel Robbins says this. Let me just reiterate this point to you that she says, because I think it's absolutely golden. I think it will change your life. This has massively changed the way I think, the way my brain operates. Don't get me wrong, it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress to allow something to happen and to just say, let them. Let them think what they want, let them do what they want. It is a constant work in progress, but it has changed the way I see things massively, and it really helps for someone who is a chronic overthinker and people pleaser like myself. This was the book that I needed to read. I feel like I need to reread it 5 times, just really make sure I'm getting all the pointers, to make sure that I'm putting everything into practice. This was a really, really special one for me. A 5-star of the self-help genre is different to a 5-star fantasy, just in the same way that a 5-star in a romance is different to a 5-star in a fantasy. All the 5 stars in the different categories, they all mean different things to me, but this one was just special. Next, let's talk about Son of the Morning. So the whole concept of this is that it's a paranormal romance set in a gorgeous gothic southern setting with angels and with demons and with a very healthy dose of spice. Now this is one of those books that you can just fly through. I think I read this on one sitting. I read this on the train to London and I read this on the train back. I had a really fun time, way spicier than I was expecting it to be, which I loved. I was here for. The writing in this book is absolutely beautiful. To say how short it is and to say that everything transpires over the course of a day within this book, the writing is gorgeous. It's romanticy, but it's done beautifully. It really, really is. I love that it was angels. I love that it was devils. I absolutely just adore that aspect in books, especially when it's done well, and this is definitely done well. We've also got the third guy in this book. I don't know if you can see him. He has got vitiligo, and as someone that has vitiligo myself, I really enjoyed seeing that represented within books. It's not something I see done often, so when it is, it kind of makes it even more special for me. And so the whole combination of all the different aspects was really, really fun and really, really good. What I struggled with though with this one was that because everything takes place over the course of a day, I struggled with how quickly everything transpires. It's not a book with a slow burn. It's definitely a fast burn kind of book, and at times that had me questioning the motives and whether they were feeling things quite as deeply as they said they were feeling. I'm a slow burn girl to my core, and so with this one I just wanted a little bit more of a challenge. But for people that love a faster kind of burn, this will be right up your street. I love the feminine strength. I loved how feisty all of our female main characters are in this, and all in all, this is just a really good, fun, dark paranormal romance. It's a really good time. I gave this one 3 stars, and I just think if you're looking for a book to get you out of a book slump, this is going to be a perfect kind of option for you. Hello Heathens, I read with Laura's in-person book club. This was an interesting one for me because initially I read it, I finished it, and I thought, oh, I've had a really good time with that. I've really enjoyed myself. And it's one of those ones where then the more you think about it and the more you critically analyze it, the more you realize there's actually quite a lot of plot holes with this book. I gave it a 4 star. I stand by my 4-star review because I did have a good time. It's all about the experience for me, and if when I'm in this book I'm having a good time, that's all that matters. You can tell me things about it afterwards and I can be like, oh okay, I see your point. However, I still had a good time, you know? The score still stands. This is literally the most mysterious kind of fantasy book I've read. I was reading it and I was truly like, okay, I have no idea where any of this is gonna go. I don't know what's happening. The whole plot and the concept feels so unique, and I am being kept on my toes. I really, really, truly am. Cards are being kept close to our chest from Nicole here, let me tell you. But then I went to book club and the girls started chatting about how they felt about this book, and they were like bringing receipts to the table. They were like, yeah, but when this happens in the book, where's the answer? Where does the answer come from? We never get it. We never get it. And so actually I was like, yes, I see that there are a lot of unanswered questions with this one, but I still read it. I still had a good time. I still love the whole theory. I still love that this predominantly is a witchy kind of read, all about 2 different covens and this town, which once you enter, you cannot physically leave. There's a lot of mystery happening. The Hollow Heathens themselves, they have these masks on. You never see their face. So we actually never know what Julian, our male main character, looks like. She says he's gorgeous and delicious, but you never see his face. You never see his face. And there's a particular point in the book where you expect something to happen and you're like, yeah, this is it. This is where this is gonna happen. And it kind of doesn't, and you're like, oh, that would have just been really nice if that had been rounded off in that way. I know that's very cryptic because you have no idea what I'm talking about, but I need to tell you anyway. So all in all, this was a 4-star, and it was a really good, dark, spooky kind of time. If you're wanting a dark, spooky, mysterious, witchy kind of read, this could be a great option. I believe it's going to be in a series of interconnected standalones. That's how she's kind of written this world. So Bone Island focuses on other characters within this world that we see little glimpses of. And I think that whole concept is a really cool idea within fantasy, because that's not something that we often see. But all in all, this was a good time. I enjoyed it. You want to talk about Blood Over Bright Haven next? Where do I begin? 5 stars. First of all, I do think this is an incredibly important book for everybody to read at some point in their lives. The first chapter is the best first chapter of a book I think I've ever read. It really, really kicks off. You're in your high stakes from the very, very, very first chapter. It has you in its grasp, and you're like, whoa, okay, where is this story going? I'm already invested. And we're only 1 chapter in. 1 chapter in and I'm already crying. What do you mean? The beginning hit me in the heart and the ending just ripped it out in its entirety, and I was just there with like, oh. That's how I felt when I finished this book. It was powerful, it was poignant, it was emotive. It's a story that takes you on such a journey with these characters. It's powered by feminine rage, and boy, oh boy, did I live for that. It did feel complex, and at times I was kind of questioning how everything works, how the magic system works, who's who, but eventually all of the pieces of the puzzle aligned and I was just blown away. I think this is a tricky kind of book because a lot of people may find this slow. Mel Wang's writing is slower, but it is more character focused, with real emphasis in creating multi-layered, multifaceted kind of characters that are incredibly interesting and incredibly nuanced. And I love that about ML's work. I really, really do. But it does take a slower trajectory. This one is way more fast paced than Sword of Kaigen. And I think especially like the beginning, we're going. The middle is kind of information, and then towards the end it's like everything is happening full speed ahead. This is a book that packs a punch and a book that will just stay with you for a very long time. 5 stars all day. Then I read this little teeny tiny fantasy or romance situation, which is Frost by C.N. Crawford. This is a very fun, easy breezy romantasy. Again, another one that if you're in a book slump and you're wanting something fast paced, that's high stakes at the same time, that you're gonna just be able to sink your teeth into and absolutely breeze through. This is going to be that kind of book, all set within this concept of The Bachelor but make it fae, and it's a sexy silly king who is looking for a hand in marriage. The stakes are high, there's trials, there's twists, and you've got humans, you've got fae. It's in a world where both of them link together in a way. It's just a really fun, easy time. I gave this 3 stars, and this one I think will be extra good in winter if you just either looking for a book to, you know, ramp up your reading goal, if you're looking for a book to get you out of a slump, and if you're looking for something that's not serious, romantasy, fast-paced, then this might be your cup of tea. And let's finish things up by talking about Hollow by the Twisted Sisters. I finally read it, and it was so worth the wait, let me tell you. I ate this book up. The concept of this just actually blew me away. I was like, okay, I have not read anything like this before. It's so new and refreshing and a really fun twist on the fantasy genre that I was like, yes. But then at the same time, you've got elements like morally grey characters, you've got sexy fae. So there's a lot of older kind of themes thrown in together with a whole new center plotline. We follow our female main character. She lives in this village. There is a forest nearby, and this forest was cursed over 600 years ago. Every 50 years, champions enter into the forest, try and reunite the spirits and break the curse. Every time they wake up, the forest has creeped closer. It keeps taking entire villages. It keeps taking lives. And people are like, no more. We're nearly at the ocean. Someone needs to put a stop to this. So this is the last attempt. And our female main character, she ends up thrown into the mix, even though she was definitely not supposed to be. Her paths cross with a morally grey fae, and the story proceeds from there. That's all I'm gonna say. With this one, I loved our female main character. She's keeping our male main character on his toes. She really makes him work for it. Sometimes she was making decisions that I was like, oh, okay, not entirely sure why that's coming from or how that's working out, but okay, I'm gonna trust the process because I love her and I'm rooting for her. I really, really am. This had so much going for it. I think for a first book in the series, amazing, amazing, amazing start. So bingeable, so easy to get through, and you were just turning pages into an absolute frenzy, and I was here for every single second. I gave this 4 stars, and I cannot wait to carry on with this series. I just cannot wait for book 2. Give it to me right now, please. So overall, November was amazing. I had such a good time. I really, really did. If you were to ask me what my favorite read of November was, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because we've had 4 5-star reads this month. 4. That's crazy. I think that's the most 5-star reads I've ever had in a month. So this probably is my best reading month of the year. In terms of a favorite, the book that just has stayed with me, and yes, I absolutely love Blood Over Brighthaven. I really, really did. But a book that I just can't explain it to you what it did to me, this book. But Good Spirits, it has to be. Don't get me wrong, Blood Over Brighthaven is right up there with it, but it's just a harsher, harder read. Your brain really is having to work with this one, and I loved it for so many different reasons. But this was just magic. This was just absolute magic. It was exactly what I needed at the perfect time, and I loved it, and it has stayed with me ever since. And so I think that speaks volumes. This has stayed with me for different reasons, but this is just magic. It is special, and one of my favorite reads of the year. I loved it so much. And then on the other side of things, in terms of my least favorite, I don't really have like a bad book this month. But in terms of the book that just compared to everything else didn't stand up quite as great, I would probably say Frost by C.N. Crawford. Still good, still a really fun time, but just not as good as some of the others in comparison. So That's my favorite, that's my least favorite. That's the kind of month I had in terms of reads, and boy, oh boy, was it amazing. It was everything I could have wanted for a November kind of reading month. It really, really, truly was. So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much as always for watching. I hope you're having an amazing first week of December. I hope it's been good to you, and I will see you guys in a couple of days for another episode of Bookmas.